One of the biggest questions we get asked here off the beaded path is how do you properly crimp a crimp bead? Well, today I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to show you on a couple of different pairs of crimp pliers. The first pair is your basic crimp plier. Now, the basic crimp plier has two holes, and I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit so that you guys can get a good look at the holes. The two holes that you see here, you have a front hole that is an olive shape, and then you have a back hole that is a U shape. And these two holes are very important in how you crimp your crimp tube. So I will show you those in just a second. The second pair is called the Magical Crimp Plier. Now, they make two different pairs of the Magical Crimp Pliers. And as you can see, one pair is made for the 0.018, 0.019 diameter of your wire. The other pair is made for 0.014, 0.015. So depending on the diameter of wire you're going to use depends on which pair of the crimp pliers that you're going to need. But first, I'm going to start out with showing you how to use the basic crimp pliers. Now, basic crimp pliers come in a couple of different sizes. They come in a micro crimper, which is good for little tiny 1 by 1 millimeter or 1.5 by 1.5 millimeter crimp tubes. Anything higher than a 2 by 2 you can pretty much do with your standard crimp pliers. They also make a larger size crimp for very, very large crimps that you would use for multi-strand pieces. But today I'm going to teach you the basics. So I'm using a 0.018 diameter of wire, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread on a 2 by 2 sterling silver crimp. Now, you'll have to kind of learn as you go along which crimps you like the best. Here at the bead shop, we like to use the 2 by 2 sterlings. So I would thread my crimp onto my wire, and then I would put my closure on. And you'll go back through the crimp tube, and you would fix it properly for your bracelet, necklace, whatever you're going to do. Now, when using the crimp pliers, you'll always put the crimp in the back hole first. So when I put it in the back hole and press, it's going to give you a U-shaped indentation into your piece. Now, the important thing to know is that sterling silver crimps are a lot softer than your silver plated or gunmetal or copper crimps. So you don't have to push super hard to get that little indentation in there. Now, making sure that this U shape is facing outward, I will then come in with my crimp pliers and press again. Now, what this does is this folds the crimp in half so that you get a nice finished look to your crimp. And it's very, very, very important that that U shape faces outward so that when I come in and I press, it'll fold it together. If you turn the U shape facing yourself and you go in and press it, it's just going to flatten that crimp back out, and it's not going to look good, and you're actually going to mess up the crimp. So that is how to use a regular pair of crimp pliers and get a good professional crimp. You could also put a crimp cover over the top if you wanted to. And when you use crimp covers, you will use the front hole of your crimp pliers. Now, I'm going to show you, since I am using the 0.018 diameter of wire, I'm going to use the Magical Crimp Plier now to show you how to do another crimp. Now, the thing with the Magical Crimp Plier, when I'm using the 018, 019 diameter piece, I have to have the 018, 019 diameter wire, and you must use a 2 by 2 millimeter crimp. Now, I'm going to do same as with the regular crimp. I will go back through the crimp, but this time when I put my bead inside of the little hole, I'm going to make sure that that crimp is perfectly centered in that little hole and it's not sticking out of the top or the bottom. And once I make sure of that, I'll press. Now what happens And I'm going to try and zoom in to see if you can get a little bit of a better picture of it here. It's about as best as I'm going to get it. What happens when you press it, you've got like a bellied center and then you have 4 corners. If you don't have the 4 corners, you'll want to put your piece, your crimp, back inside and press it again to make sure you get those 4 corners on your piece. Now with those 4 corners, I'm going to turn it to a 90-degree angle. Again, I'm going to make sure that it's centered inside my crimp, and I'm going to press. And each time, I'm just going to continue turning my crimp at a 90-degree angle and pressing. And if you don't get your crimp perfect the first time, don't get upset, because the magical crimp pliers are kind of one of those pliers that you have to get used to using, but the effect is absolutely beautiful. When you finish with your crimp, as you can see, it looks like a tiny little 2mm ball instead of actually a crimp. So you get a very, very nice finished look to it. And so that's what your magical crimp pliers will do for you. Now, if for another option on your crimps, you could use the screw crimp and the screw crimp tool to have an even more finished look. And to see that, be sure and check out our other video. I hope this helped you on learning how to use your crimps. For more information, you can check out our website off the beadedpathbeadstore.com. Click on our forum and you can see all of the videos that we currently have. We hope you enjoyed it.